Hi, this is Alex Lafkas here with Russ Maddin. We're fishing mid-May, fishing Great Lakes Smallmouth bass. Pre-spawn still, getting out there, nice day, expecting some wind later in the day. But we're gonna do some fishing. We're gonna talk about some fly line selection and fly selection a little later on in the video. Thanks for checking it out. We were dealing with a little bit of wind, which is why we are not using the attached microphones. But we were dealing with a little wind. We hit a couple of spots to start that had fish day prior. There were no fish there. So we kind of moseyed around, checked a few other spots, and finally got on a flat with a handful of fish, and where we were able to find a few. And Russ was fishing his little jig fly.
Show the GoPro, Russ.
Isolated creatures or things out here.
I was struggling with the wind that day. North wind, it was an east to west pass, which is a little bit difficult. What you'll tend to find is that if you just slow down and make your cast easy, smooth, whatever you can do to make life easier on you is going to be beneficial. It'll give you a little bit more ability to fish a little longer in the day. I was able to pick up a small fish here on another clouser type bait as we were pitching at a little isolated structure out in Big Sand Flat. After poking around a few spots, we fished some shallow water and a couple other shallow areas, and we decided to slide into a little deeper cut. And you know, by the time we got to the deeper water, the wind had really started to pick up, and we were a little further south, which means we took a little bit more of that wind. But you know, Russ instinctively grabbed his heavier sinking line. I think it was a Type 6 with a lead eye fly, which got him in a little better position for the water we were fishing. The only way I could do it better is to go out deep and just make a long drift in. You might do. I just don't want to burn them all.
I just think they're not right. Definitely not at that flat.
Mind your way at all? I just know you keep picking up right here. I just want to make sure you don't make it down right.
I'm worried about your head.
That's why I do it. I want ear piercings. I'm just trying to make your life easier.
So today we're fishing Great Lakes Smallmouth with fly rods, obviously. We did a little playing around with a couple different colors and sizes of flies, fishing some smaller clouser type flies. Still water's cold, we're still pre-spawn, so that's kind of what we were sticking with today. You know, one of the major things when you're fishing any large body of water, whether it be a lake, a big river, or Lake Michigan for that matter, is really dialing in fly lines and what kind of idea you can have, what to expect and what you should consider carrying with you when you approach these situations. And Russ can talk to you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Van Dam doesn't go to that lake with one rod. Basically, we like to have something that's going to be somewhat slow sink, like an intermediate type line, somewhat that's going to sink a little bit faster, like a type 3, and something that's going to go to the depths of the depths, so a type 6. And we're running those 3 basic lines. I know Alex feels the same way. Those 3 lines are what we're basically running, and we're going to use them based on wind direction, the temperature. We're going to switch those rods accordingly, and we're going to play with the weights as well. You know, sometimes lead, sometimes chain, sometimes tungsten. We're going to mix it up, and basically we're going to try to come up with a pattern for some of these fish.
So when we're talking about the different fly lines, you know, usually we carry 3 8-weights each. As Russ was talking about, more of an intermediate line. I kind of look at that as more of like a 2 to 5 foot depth of fishing for that type of line, you know. And then the type 3 tip, whether it be 15 feet or 24 feet or whatever, usually that's more of like that 4 to 8 or so, depending on how fast your presentation is and weight of the fly, obviously. But anytime you start talking about 8 and deeper, a lot of times that heavier type 6 sink tip will come into play. That'll allow you to get down and fish a little deeper in sort of that deeper stuff. I'll run that type 6 stuff. You know, personally, I don't like throwing flies in much over 12 to 14 foot of water, but anytime I'm in that 8 to 14, that's sort of what I'm leaning towards. Anytime you get over that 10, I'd say 12, you know, you might need to count it down a few seconds to get it there. But the other thing to keep in mind, you know, if you're fishing shallow stuff but the fish are pinned on the bottom, you might run that intermediate with some tungsten or some lead eye so that you can really fish the structure in that shallow water without having to really strip that line fast to keep that fly in. So you're using your fly to penetrate into that specific spot versus your line. The second you start fishing 8 to 12, you're using that line to assist getting you down. That also opens you up to running, you know, unweighted flies as the water temp warms and the fish get more active. You can run those unweighted flies in, say, 6, 7 foot of water with a type 6 sink tip, you know, and then you can always just kind of jumble it back and forth. But you're really, when you sit down to tie flies, that's a lot of what we're doing is you're tying them in different weights for different situations, and then you use your fly line in accordance with the weight of your fly to get exactly what you want. But in the lake, it's imperative to do that, or it's really going to negatively impact your success rate if you're not doing that.
Yeah, if you're not versatile, you're going to run into issues. And fly lines, weights on flies, when you sit down at that bench and you can't get wrapped up into one design or one weight system. You really got to be versatile. On these bigger lakes, the temperatures change rapidly, even through the course of a day. You can lose temp, you can gain temp, you could be fishing 2 feet of water, you could be fishing 12 feet of water. So that versatility is very critical out here on the bigger bodies of water.
And like Russ's the best fish we got today was one that we slid into a spot and we knew we were sitting on a shallow flat and casting out into deep water, and Russ just instinctively grabbed his type 6, you know, because you see it and you don't see the bottom, and it's like, well, that other gear isn't going to work. Picked it up, couple casts in, got a nice fish out of it. All right, we just wanted to thank Wallstrom Marine, Scientific Anglers, Sage Fly Rods. You know, they really have helped us get our stuff together so we're able to do this. Thanks for viewing. There's going to be more stuff coming as we go. So thanks for tuning in.